whenever I see someone else on, I'll bring you guys in. Yo, what's up, guys? It's your host, Darshi. Welcome to another episode of our AMAs. Today we have Nyan Heroes. With us today we have Max. Welcome, Max.
Hey
And
guys, what's up?
man, I just learned his name just now. I'm probably gonna forget it again. Naive.
Close enough, close enough. Nay, Nayef.
Naive. All right. Welcome,
Yeah,
guys.
close enough. Glad to be here. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, I mean it's been an interesting few months. I'm pretty sure we're all weathering this crypto winter right now. We just went through another cycle of red candles. I'm pretty sure you guys aren't looking as closely as I am either. It's just really saddening, but I hope we bring in more good news for our listeners later.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think we'll have some good news.
Great.
yeah.
So yeah, if you
we're
want to
hanging
give
in there, just like
yeah,
everyone else.
for sure. So yeah, if you guys want to give like a quick intro about yourselves for our listeners.
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can.
Do you wanna? Yeah, you can go first, now.
Yeah, yeah, I can go first. So, hey everybody, I'm Nayef. I am the Web3 operations lead here at Nyan Heroes, and I come from a management consulting and hedge fund background, and have been in technology and startup space for over a decade now. And have done everything from high tech to low tech to data sciences to AI, and now gaming. And have been helping out with the marketing, helping out with everything blockchain, and everything operations and finance on the team. And it's just been such a pleasure to be here and to be able to create such a cool product that our community is such fans of even before the product is even out. It's definitely been a unique experience.
Yeah, nice to meet you all. My name's Max. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Nyan Heroes. My background is in sort of digital marketing and digital online creator space. I've been the operations lead of a digital media production studio for the last 8 years. I've been in the crypto space for the last 5 years as an investor. And funny story, prior to all of this, I was actually, a surgeon in training, did a 6-year medical degree, and then 6 years working in practicing in the field of medicine and surgery. So I've had a wild and wonderful career so far, and I'm really excited to be part of, this next generation of builders in the tech space. Building Nyan Heroes, a AAA game in the blockchain gaming space, has just been incredibly exciting and rewarding so far. So, yeah, thanks for having us here.
Yeah, I mean, wow, that's. I'm really surprised that you went from being a surgeon, now you're into crypto. But I mean, there's tons of people in like different industries that jumped into crypto, and now they're like building their own thing, and it's amazing right now. The space is genuinely like we'll find new people, and there's always like someone's bound to surprise someone in this space.
Yeah, for sure. I think the one common characteristic that I see in a lot of people in the crypto space is that they're always really hungry to learn new things, right? Like I think that thirst for knowledge, and especially in the tech industry, is something that draws a lot of us together. And so, yeah, I mean, for me, that's always been my MO. I love learning new things. I love exploring new sort of avenues that I haven't learned before. So that's why I've been able to like reinvent myself so many different times, going from medicine, surgery, digital media, and now, blockchain, and now gaming. It's like it's constantly just like a never-ending, path of excitement.
Yeah.
I thought
Sure.
the thing that the commonality between everybody in crypto was that we were all degens. Is that not the case?
There's that too.
Yeah, for sure. We're all degens. That's why I'm not
We're all
trying to
degens
dox
just a little
myself
bit.
right now. But yeah, so let's get into the AMA. So last time you guys were here, it was last year in December. I still remember that like it was yesterday. Can you share what has changed since then?
Yeah. Maybe Naif, you could take this one, because I mean you're kind of slowly moving into the people's role.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I'm more than happy. So, well, what's one thing that's different is I'm here. So I joined at the beginning of the year, but more so, we've doubled our team. Or since I've joined, we've doubled. But since January, where there was, I believe, 5 or 6 people on the team at that time, once that initial NFT minting was happening, we are now, I think, up to 54, 55 people. On the team, spread out across over 25 countries. More than 2/3 of our studio come from AAA studio backgrounds and game titles. And so that's one of the biggest differences between where we were at and where we are today, is the fact that our team has massively grown, and our ability to produce, as I'm sure many people on this AMA have seen with our cinematic trailer and our gameplay demo, which were both basically done all in-house by our own team. That just goes to show the level of quality of people that we've been able to hire and attract, and that believe in the mission of what we're going to accomplish. So I think, to me, that's one of the biggest accomplishments, is how we've grown the team intelligently and consciously, and with the right people. And we've been very picky about who are those people joining in and what experience they have, and if they're going to really be able to help kind of create a best-in-class product with Nyan Heroes. More so than that, we have a lot of new things that have come up. We've released our like I said, our cinematic trailer. We've released our gameplay demo. We have our mech drop coming up soon. And then later this year, we're also going to be focusing on some other major events, potentially even a land sale, potentially even getting back our IDO on track. The market is doing first. And so, we're just going to, again, move intelligently and make sure that we're putting Nyan Heroes and the community always in the best position to weather the storms.
Yeah, fully agree. I think technically the last time we spoke, our team was around maybe 20 people. So yeah, but having said that, we've massively scaled since then. And that was, I think, back then when we first spoke, we had completed our Genesis mint. We had staking activated, but we didn't have any of the trailers that we have so far. So yeah, really exciting times.
Yeah, I mean that's so amazing. Even us as YGG, we've also scaled to about 50 people. We started off with I think it's just the co-founders, right? Now we have 6 co-founders. We have 4 different countries. We're adding on a few more. So yeah, I mean it's great to be growing with even being a part of in an AMA with guys that are we're all going through the same thing at the same time. And it's so comforting to know that we're just building right now.
Yeah, as they like to say, bear markets are build markets, right? So
For sure.
The one of the unique privileges I think that we have at Nyan Heroes in this bear market is that we're not massively impacted by crypto prices or the prices of our NFT, because our product is our game, right? We are a gaming studio and our product is our game, which hasn't been released yet, right? And so right now, with the markets being down and us being in this crypto winter, it does give us the opportunity to just focus on building the game, like Max said. But we are in the unique position where we're not super stressing about what our NFT price is doing today, because those are elements of our product. Our main product is the game, and that's what we're still focused on. And we are positioned well to weather the storm, and always looking to add to our strength to make sure that we can weather it fully.
Yeah, for sure. So let's take a step back and let's try to address for newcomers, right? Could you explain what Neon Heroes is all about?
Yeah, so I mean, Nine Heroes is about many different things, I should say. But, to start off with the game itself, which is, something that I think we're all very interested in, it's a AAA game, it's a battle royale, and the best way to think about it is a mix between Fortnite and Apex Legends. And so we really want to create a game first product that sits next to these massive sort of AAA games that you currently see out on Twitch and YouTube and things like that. And for not only our players but also our audience to be able to watch something like this and feel like, hey, this is really AAA quality. So that has always been the core mission of Nyan Heroes, to create a really good quality game first product that is in line with the times, right? Like, we want to create something that is fast paced, is action based, is nice to watch. I mean, I do still enjoy the odd sort of turn-based, pixel related card game here and there, but as a gamer, it's not my sort of bread and butter. So and we're all gamers in house in terms of our devs. We're all passionate gaming advocates. So we want to create a product that excites us as gamers. I think beyond that initial goal, we do have obviously other pillars that we want to try and achieve. And so one of them, obviously, we're building in the blockchain space, and so we want to basically pioneer a framework that allows obviously firstly ourselves, but also maybe even other projects coming into the space later on, to basically create a economy and token system and token architecture that is actually fair, meaningfully adds value to the game itself, and is also sustainable for the long term. What we don't want to create and what we don't want to see are these token economies that rely on pure speculation and end up in sort of pump and dumps, because what ends up happening is that the community are the people that ends up getting hurt. And so that's one of our core pillars. It's a meaningful, sustainable way of integrating blockchain technology into our gaming layer. And then the final thing is, our product is called Nyan Heroes. We're all about cats. We have cats in mechs. And so, the final pillar is that we want to save cats. We've got a number of charity initiatives in place already that are basically dedicated to donating, a bunch of funds to animal charities. We've donated $250K to Best Friends Animal Society, the largest sort of shelter in the US. And we've donated about another $100K through various other charities, through partnering with other Solana blue chip projects and auctioning them off on Magic Eden. And so that is actually something that we're very passionate about. My profile picture is a cat as well, and so I'm just like a crazy cat person that we've built this entire IP around cats. So as quirky and funny as it sounds, that is actually one of our major goals and visions, is to actually give back in a meaningful way.
Yeah,
That's
just
awesome.
to add to that, one of the things that we're really focused on is, because we're creating this brand new IP, this brand new gaming studio on the bleeding edge of gaming, right? Using some of the blockchain elements that we're doing. And this is a really unique time and a unique awakening in humanity and in culture as a whole, where we can kind of rebuild smarter. We can learn lessons from previous industries, previous iterations, and be better. So what we want to make sure that we're doing is always putting in best-in-class products. When I talk about best-in-class, and that's something that you'll hear our marketing team say quite a bit, we're talking about not only having a best-in-class game experience, but we're also talking about best-in-class ethics, best-in-class inspiration, artwork, community management. And we're still a very new team, and we're still a very new organization, so we're building towards it. But we do want to become essentially what is the best in gaming, what is the best in Web3, and we want to embody that and show people how we think it can be done, to benefit everybody in a fair, equitable, and ethical way.
Yeah, for sure. I think what you guys are doing is amazing, right? You guys are not only trying to be one of the top, with this whole AAA game studio, you're also giving back, you're helping the animals. I'm pretty sure you guys also watched that show on Netflix, Who Killed That Cat or whatever, Finding the Cat Killer.
I haven't seen that. What is that called? I have to
Oh,
look
I
it
haven't even
up.
heard of it. I haven't even heard of it.
I'll send you guys a link later. It's a pretty interesting. Yeah, you guys might binge watch it.
I probably will. Yeah.
Game on.
But yeah. All right. So moving on, do you have any plans to make Neon Heroes multi-chain?
Yes, is the short answer to that. We've been discussing this internally for quite some time now. And so, what we think is the future of gaming is essentially being able to support multi-chain future. Basically, have our assets live on any chain, and then basically tie them in with basically an omni-chain interoperability layer where your assets, no matter where they're sold, where they come from, where they end up, can eventually talk to each other through the game tech infrastructure. So we're currently our first and only collection currently sits on Solana, but I am definitely interested in exploring what it would look like to have other collections on other chains and then eventually kind of tie them all in together when the game is launched.
Nice. So yeah, Solana, and then did you want to say something?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, if we're focusing on the game experience, right? And we're not a blockchain game. We're a AAA shooter. Shouldn't matter what blockchain we're on. It shouldn't matter. People shouldn't have to know how to interact with that specific blockchain or to be able to do specific things within Web3. They should just be able to register for the game and then play the game. And so being able to go multi-chain really allows us to open up a whole world of where we're saying, hey, the blockchain isn't the attraction for being here. It's just an element, again, of that gameplay. And when we go multi-chain, I think it's just going to continue to show that, again, that best in class is focused on the gameplay experience and not what's happening on the blockchain side or not what's happening on the crypto side.
All right. So side question: what would be your favorite chain then, besides Solana?
That's a pretty difficult question. I mean, I think I would say that every chain has its advantages, pros and cons. Obviously, when you look at chains like Ethereum, right? I mean, you have the fact that it is very, very, decentralized, and it's very, very secure. The disadvantages are transaction speeds and basically gas fees and things like that. However, they do also have a pretty large chunk of the NFT/gaming sort of market. So there's never like one chain wins over every other chain. When you look at other chains like layer 2 solutions like Polygon, for example, or even Immutable X, AVAX, we're looking at Flow, Near as well, even the Wax, like they all have their pros and cons. And so I think right now it's really too early to say like which chain is my favorite or which chain is eventually going to rule them all, right? You don't really know, and they all have their benefits. So I think that's why it's really important for a game to not necessarily just kind of become too much of a single chain maximalist, because the game itself is just the game, right? Like we want to be able to have our users play the game no matter where they are or what chain they're sort of aligned with, or where the NFTs end up getting minted. It's about the gaming experience. And so I don't necessarily have a favorite. Obviously, I'm a big fan of Solana. I also like what the guys at Polygon and Immutable X are doing. I think, the value of having AVAX subnets is really, really interesting and gives gaming projects a lot of, I guess, diversity and flexibility. So there's a ton of amazing features of all these different chains, but, it's hard. I'd be hard pressed to find a favorite.
All right. Naive?
Oh, I gotta agree. Like it's so hard to say like which one is your favorite, because they all have different benefits and drawbacks to them. So if you're gonna ask like me to, like, if you put me in a corner and said you have to choose, I'm going to choose multi-chain. I think the future is multi-chain, where we're not going to be tied to a specific blockchain and limited to a specific blockchain. I do think that the future is going to be much more variable.
Having said that, I do want to say that I do like Solana, right? I mean, this is why we're building on Solana. I mean, I guess the earliest reasons why we even made that decision in the first place was because of its transaction, speeds, and the fact that it can support, multiple tens of thousands of transactions per second. The fact that it is carbon neutral as well. Kind of positions it really well to be a scalable, green layer 1 option. And so, there are a lot of great things about Solana. The fact that it builds on Rust, right, which is a very low level language, which is, basically gives builders a lot of flexibility. So I do like Solana, but it's difficult to ignore, some of the issues that have been happening in the ecosystem lately, with the network congestions and in some cases the network being down. So, I still like what they're doing. I still think they have a great team and they have a great, bunch of engineers that will probably be able to fix the issue eventually. But, as a game, we want to just make sure that, we are diverse and that we have multiple options and that we're not putting, every egg into the same basket.
All right.
Can I add one more thing
last...
to my answer? Max reminded me of something, so I want to add one more thing to my answer, which is my favorite blockchains are ones that are environmentally sustainable. There's no reason not to be. Like at this stage of the game where we're at, there's no reason to not be carbon neutral or at least having a minimal environmental impact. And so that is definitely something that we'll be taking into consideration as we go multi-chain.
Sure. Yeah. So last DGen question before we keep moving forward is what do you guys think of Solana coming out with their mobile, like the first version of their phone?
I mean, I love it. I honestly, I don't, from a purely, conceptual standpoint, I love it. I think, they're definitely thinking about mass adoption. They're thinking about breaking down the barriers to access and entry for, everyday people. And so I think it was really interesting. It was really exciting. Definitely took me by surprise. I was not expecting it. Obviously, there's a ton of, pragmatic implications, and there's going to be a ton of obstacles to kind of get it rolling. I don't know if it's going to be a success or not, but I would just say that I really I'm impressed by the strategic direction from the guys at Solana. I really do think that implementing native wallet and dApp support on a mobile phone is extremely exciting for the future if they can pull it off.
I think it's going to open up a world where Solana Pay becomes a competitor eventually, or at least what they're trying to do with Apple Pay, Google Pay, and things like that. And so I am very interested to see on how these mobile phones will integrate payment systems. And I'm also more interested in seeing how Google and Apple respond with iPhone and Android, and if they're going to be adopting some of these same technologies for smart vaults and security on their phones to be able to support this.
Yeah,
it's really early. I wasn't expecting it either. Like with Max, I actually read the headline. I was telling them yesterday because we were when I first saw the headline, I actually thought it was satire. I was like, oh, that's cute, and I kept reading, and then in a meeting at Nyan Heroes, somebody mentioned the Solana fund. I was like, wait, that's a real thing? And then I went back to the article, and mind was blown.
If they can pull it off, it's actually really great for obviously the industry as a whole, because as a game developer, we're obviously looking to support release on multiple platforms, including the mobile phone. But right now, when you look at the Google Play Store and Apple Store, they don't actually support any blockchain-based games, right? Like it's not in their TOS to do so. And so there is that barrier. Like a lot of these gaming projects that are developing for mobile, they actually just have to get their users to kind of gain root access or something to their Android phone and download an APK that's not off any app store, and that's the only way that they can actually use it. Whereas I imagine if Solana were successful in their creating their Solana phone, that they might end up being one of the first stores that actually supports, blockchain games at a massive sort of industry level, which would help people like myself, right? Then instead of endless legal meetings with the Apple team, which I know is just going to sort of bore my brains out, I'll just be able to say, hey, well, look, there's a platform that can actually just natively support everything that we're trying to build. So why don't we just go there and see what happens? And then eventually, the guys from Apple and Google will probably end up coming around. But I think this is really exciting and interesting.
All right. Jumping back to your game. So, what's the current progress of your game development?
Yeah, so we were able to release like a gameplay trailer, as you probably are aware, probably around 1 to 2 months ago now, where you can kind of see like what we had in a preliminary build. What we are currently doing is we're just at the end of July, so we're about a month away, or maybe just over a month, maybe 5 weeks away from getting to a proof of concept vertical slice hybrid. And basically what that means is we're mapping out what it will look like for our game to actually support Battle Royale. So we're going to be building, a small area of the map, not the full Battle Royale map. Implement a couple of the classes, if possible, 2 classes with abilities, with weapons, and to have an actual sort of, I guess, early Battle Royale systems where, you start off on the map, you kind of loot around, you shoot other people, and then you kind of win, and have that an early loop, exists in our proof of concept vertical slice. The other thing is we will be aiming to have multiplayer online networking support as well. Not necessarily with 60 people, but maybe with 9 people initially for our proof of concept. And so that is looking, pretty good at the moment. We're hoping to be able to release that, at least internally, in the next 5 to 6 weeks. So, be on the lookout for that. Where we can, I would love to be able to share, insights or leaks into that initial proof of concept with our community and our partners as well. So definitely keep an eye out for that. And then once we have that, we'll be well on our way to our full-blown vertical slice, which was just basically the same thing with more systems, looking more and more polished. And then once we get that out, we'll be able to just, basically complete the rest of our production. It's just a matter of multiplying what we've done at scale in order to bring it to a Battle Royale map. And so our alpha, we're looking at the end of the year, early next year, which is a full game alpha where we'll be able to have early alpha testers get involved, playing the game, giving us feedback, testing for bugs, etc., etc.
Yeah. All right. So
only thing I'll add to that, because Max pretty much said everything, is if you want access to our early alpha, there's a way to guarantee your access to it, and that is to own one of our Nyan NFTs. And if you own one of our Nyan NFTs, then you can also send it on an expedition, earn catnip rewards in the meantime while the game is in development before the alpha. So if you are interested in getting the alpha access, then this is my shameless plug to go get a Nyan NFT and guarantee your alpha access.
all right, understood. You were saying earlier how there's land in your game. So how does this all play out with the roles of land?
Yeah, so land is basically something that we're currently working on internally. We're kind of trying to spin up a small team to tackle land and also our virtual world. So I think the best way to sort of explain how we're looking to implement land is that if you look at other games, they tend to implement land in one of 2 ways. The first way is that it's seen as a metaverse and a virtual world and a social space where people kind of just get their land, they can do whatever they want on it, build whatever they want, and the main thing is that they create the value and they hang out with their friends on that land. So it really is kind of more of a social space / metaverse. In other games, you have land that is intrinsically tied to gameplay activities. It's less focused on being, like a virtual world or a social space. You look at games like Illuvium, for example, and they have their land plots that are basically entirely centered around generating resources or fuel that their actual game players can then go and buy in order to capture their alluvials, for example. So their land is definitely kind of more tied in with gameplay. What we're trying to concept out at Nyan Heroes is basically a way that we can fuse both of those aspects of land into one product. So when we basically create land, we want it to be a virtual world and a social space. We already have concepts out for what that virtual cat world will look like, and some of the spaces look really, really epic, and we're building on Unreal 5, so they all look very high fidelity. But beyond that, we also want to create utility for our players. So it's not just a place to hang out, although it can be, but that they can actually build features and buildings and NPCs and assets on top of that land that will actually directly impact their gameplay. And whether it's the ability to generate yield, or whether it's the ability to craft materials or get resources from that land that will then affect their gameplay in a meaningful way. So those are some of the high level things that we're thinking around when it comes to our land, and in doing so we should hopefully be able to generate like maximum utility for our buyers.
Nice. Do you have anything to add to that, or?
Really, he hit it. But the emphasis that I would put is on the very last sentence he said, which is utility, right? We're not interested in releasing any products, whether on chain or off chain, that don't provide real utility, right? We're not interested in putting out products, especially on the blockchain, that we don't feel like are going to add value to the owner's experience, as well as add value to the game experience within the game. So as we're thinking about these land sales, as we're designing our virtual worlds, we are thinking 100% on how can we make this utilizable? How can we make this functional? How can we utilize this within the gameplay experience, and not just have like a metaverse or a virtual world where it's social and it's a social club to hang out, but there's functional activities, there's functional things happening, there's real value being derived within the virtual world itself. So like that would be my addition, which Max already said. But every product we do, from our NFTs to our virtual world and our land sales, will always be focused on functionality and utility. To be able to make sure that we're putting out products that people actually use.
Great. All right, moving on. Can you share more about the different game modes that you guys were talking about earlier? You had your PvP, PvE. I guess you have other modes too.
Yeah. So Nyan Heroes is a pretty ambitious project with a very, very long roadmap. We're definitely not just creating one game product and that's it. So we are creating multiple. So the first product is, what I was talking about, the Battle Royale. It's something that's pretty easy to understand. It has well-developed game systems that already exist in other games that we can see in the marketplace. And we're basically doing our own spin on it. We're taking what works, and we're making changes that are unique that will make it more fun to play. So our Battle Royale is basically the first product. We do have, as I mentioned, for example, the virtual world that we're building and incorporating with the land. That is, in and of itself, another product, right? Beyond that, we also have our open world, which is kind of the best way to think about that is like an MMO, where a lot of the content will actually be PvE based. There'll be basically, a full narrative-driven storyline and quests, side quests, campaigns. That's when you'll be able to take on, for example, group quests, co-op quests, guild quests, raid bosses, and start basically, demonstrating your skill versus these AI-controlled enemies, as you would expect in an MMO. So that is definitely in the works as well. It's going to be out a lot later than our Battle Royale. And then beyond that, we have a lot of crazy ideas about user-generated content, where we want to create a pipeline for our actual community to create user-generated content. So it might start very simply with things like skins or decals or parts or attachments, but then I really do think it can expand limitlessly to things like maps, worlds, maybe even new game modes, maybe completely new game mods that our community have actually created and can then basically, push out to the rest of the community. And if they do a great job, then they should be rewarded, with our ecosystem tokens. As more community members get involved with their user-generated content, it just provides another platform for our users to gain value from being a part of our ecosystem. So yeah, I mean, those are some of the things that we have in the works. That is definitely not the only stuff that we'll be doing. There's so many other options that we have planned out. We've been talking about animated series and TV shows. We have merch in the works. We have we want to collaborate with musicians. We want to collaborate with real world brands. We want to collaborate with other existing IPs as seasonal events within our game as well. And so there's just so many things that we're looking to build, and just basically not enough time or manpower to cover everything, unfortunately.
For sure.
There's a couple leaks in there. There was a few leaks in there.
I'm always gonna give my wish list, and then it'll be, we'll just have to see what things will be doable based on what time frame. But I'm always going to be there saying, hey, I want XYZ. It's kind of like Christmas.
Sure.
Every day is Christmas when it comes to my wish list, Nayef.
That's so you guys heard it. Some alphas right there. If you haven't been paying attention, you should start paying attention.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, like you spoke about so many different things. I mean, it's amazing. But going into my next question, which kind of you already answered it, but like, what's the next big thing for Nyan Heroes?
I would say that the next thing on our roadmap is probably the mech drop. That's something that Nayef has been working pretty hard on. So maybe he should cover that one.
Yeah. So I would say we have a lot of big things coming up. And so let's start with the mech drop. So we have, if you own one of our Genesis Neon NFTs, you will be airdropped 2 mech NFTs that are also considered Genesis class, which Genesis just means the first of them. So they'll always be unique. They'll always be special within our ecosystem. And so the first of those mech drops is going to be happening soon. I don't want to give quite a date quite yet, but let's just say it's happening soon-ish, and we'll definitely let our communities know. What's really unique about this mech drop is if you look at our Neon NFT artwork, the NFTs that are currently in existence right now, and you can buy them on OpenSea or Magic Eden or Solon Art. And so those are 2D art pieces, essentially. And these new mechs that are coming out are actually 3D rendered Guardians. So these are the actual 3D models that will be playable within the game. And so every person that gets one of these Guardian mechs, their mech with their colors, with their 3 unique attachments, and each attachment has different functionalities, as well as the Guardian, will be their own actual unique playable character in the game when the game launches. So the mech drop for us is a massive deal because it required us to accelerate so much of our timeline to be able to create all of these assets fully rigged out in 3D. So this was a massive decision by the company to take this on. And so in order to commemorate it, we're actually not going to just be airdropping it into people's wallets, but rather we're going to be giving people a full visual and auditory unboxing experience. And so the team's working really, really hard right now to have like a special premium unboxing digitally And so we have a number of other surprises that are going to be tied into that unboxing that I'm just going to keep them as surprises for now. So we have that coming up. We have merch coming up. I see merch in the comments. So merch has actually already been ordered on some levels. We have 2 even bigger orders coming as well. So merch is on its way. It's coming, and I can't wait to show you guys some of the things that we're working on. I actually want one of Max's. If you could show your neon shirt, because I know somebody in the comments already commented on it. I was like, Max is wearing a neon shirt. Yeah.
This was like a super early iteration of what we felt that our merch could look like and represent. This was definitely not intended to be sort of mass produced or distributed. It was kind of more of like a test. And so that's why, only people like myself have it, and maybe a few select people that I met out in Lisbon when I went to Breakpoint. But yeah, it was kind of just like a early proof of concept. But yeah, so unfortunately, these are not actually in circulation. Maybe we could do a throwback at some point.
I just realized. So I'm in Lisbon. So and there are people out here in Lisbon that have neon shirts, and I don't have neon shirt. Man, I'm so behind on the ways right now. That hit me.
Yeah,
hit
man.
me in my
That
heart,
was
Mac. You're right here.
that was
Just a
in.
little.
I think that was in October or November, so it was a little bit before your time. That's when we were kind of giving them out. Yep.
Yeah. So the Mech Drop merch is happening. We just hired on a new marketing director who we're absolutely in love with, and in love with a lot of his ideas. And he's very big on community events, both digitally and IRL. So some other big things coming up is expect some community events coming up, expect some games coming up, expect perhaps even some IRL meetups coming up as well, which we know that people have been asking for, and we're super stoked to be able to deliver that. And then the other last 2 things I will mention that's like big coming up for us is 1, more hiring. If you're looking for a job and you have skills around animation, around art, around blockchain and development and engineering and coding and marketing and communications and project management, please go to neonheroes.com, click on our careers, and visit us on LinkedIn, and please send us your resume. Tell them Nayef sent you. And yeah, we are going to be hiring a lot more even throughout this crypto winter. So that is one of our biggest events because our people are our most important things. And then just to kind of add to Max's little alpha leak earlier is we are actively exploring lots of different IP partnerships. We don't want this to kind of start and end as a video game. We see so many things in our future, from merch to TV shows to music to pop culture. And so we're going to be leveraging all of these different channels to really create a culture of Nyan Heroes and just grow the Nyan army globally. So I would say that those are the things that I'm most excited about coming up.
Nice. So yeah, if you're talking about the Genesis and the airdrops, what are the costs involved in playing the game? Like, what other benefits are players are they going to get?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of the costs involved in playing the game, we basically have, a very similar model to a lot of the current existing free-to-play models, where we basically give our players the choice. You can actually just play the game for free. You can onboard, you can create an account. You don't have to pay any money at all, and we'll basically provide you with free characters that you can use to play all of our game modes. So in terms of what is the cost, it doesn't have to be anything. When you then sort of, I guess, break it down further in terms of like paid players, people who actually want to spend some money to basically either increase their progression or increase their enjoyment, or a combination of the both, then that's where the NFTs come into play, right? And so basically through the NFTs you'll get access to additional things like yield, for example, where people who actually pay for these NFTs will be able to get, substantially and materially more yield by playing the game, as compared to a free player who will probably be able to sort of start collecting the in-game soft currency and will eventually need to sort of grind a little bit more to convert that from a soft currency into one of our token currencies. Whereas for a paid player who already owns our NFTs, for example, a lot of you guys have our Genesis NFTs, they will be yield generating assets from day one. And so that is going to be the primary difference between, paid and non-paid. We are also currently exploring ways where, the paid player base will be able to have sort of gameplay impact or gameplay benefits from ownership of these NFTs. We haven't exactly defined what they are yet. There are some things that we're basically creating in terms of our game systems where, we're looking at player progression and, within each match, but also external to the match. So we're kind of terming it like meta game progression, where, by spending money, you'll be able to, advance more quickly or more effectively, compared to someone who doesn't spend. And these are pretty common principles in a lot of these free-to-play games. But at our core, we are a free-to-play game with a freemium model built in.
Just to add to that, I think, again, best in class, right? Best in class ethically, best in class game experience. We don't want to create a pay gateway for people to experience Nyan Heroes and to join the fund and to be a part of the community. So it will be, so like I said, just to reiterate, it's a free-to-play game. Now, if you own one of the Nyan NFTs, whether it's going to be a Guardian class or any other class future, you'll have additional benefits in terms of yield and maybe some access to different things, merch drops, et cetera, et cetera. But to play the game and to also be competitive in the game, you just need to sign up and register. And one more thing regarding like what is the cost to play. So a lot of the traditional gaming community may not have wallets to be able to connect it and do that. So what we're looking at doing is creating such a seamless onboarding experience that the cost of signing up to play is really minimal. So what we're looking at doing is custom wallet integrations right now, where someone can essentially sign up on the website and register a username, email, password, just like they do with any other service. And just by doing that, we automatically create for them their wallet, their blockchain elements, if they don't have that already and they didn't want to link their already existing ones. And so that we just remove the barriers and the cost to entry and just make it very seamless. Because again, to be able to play this game, you shouldn't need to understand how anything Web3 works. You should just be able to get a gun and shoot some other mechs, and like that's all we want people to do, is to focus on the gameplay experience versus the setup versus the trying to figure out all of the things that you need to do in order to make it work.
For sure. So yeah, I guess that was my last question. But I do want to, before we do anything else, I know, being in this bear market right now, it's hard for anyone to give out gifts. But I was thinking, if you guys can go choose a few questions, maybe instead of giving them cash, you can give them some merch.
Questions?
There's some questions. If you guys can go on our Discord, the AMA discussions. There's like hundreds of questions.
I don't think I'm in your Discord at the moment.
Oof.
I'm also not. I'm joining in right now. Let's see. Play a little game of Russian roulette. Do you have any questions that you find interesting in there while we're joining that we can maybe answer?
Sure. Let me go.
Let's sign ourselves up for this. What do you got?
A lot of questions. This talks about token prices. I don't really like asking about token prices because, if especially with you, right, Max, you've been through, this is your second bear market, so we've definitely seen through the ICO period and now this time DeFi summer and this prices aren't that, it's not, I mean, there's always that generic answer, but maybe someone wants to answer the token price question.
You mean so? Well, I would say first of all, looking at token prices in a bear market is a very is a very sad process. And I would say that for a lot of companies, irrespective of the product that they actually have, they're all affected by what's happening, globally, and macroeconomically. It's like, even the best projects have seen, their token prices fall from, whatever they were prior to, 50, 60, 70, 80, even 90% sort of drawdowns in the token price. So what I would say all the time is that token prices are not, by any stretch of the imagination, always reflective of the quality of the company. Like a lot of these companies, I would say that I'm seeing their token price fall is like, well, you got to look at what they're building for the long term. I mean, looking at short-term token price is only going to cause you grief and misery. This is the time to be sort of slowing down, really doing your research and deep diving and doing some DD on some projects that you really love and the projects that you really believe in, and reading all their stuff, like, going through their white paper line by line, page by page, looking at their team members, looking at the kind of products that they've rolled out so far, and whether they're actually meeting their milestones, whether they're meeting their sort of promises, and just generally, I guess, educating yourself, because eventually, once this bear market ends, and it will eventually end, you will eventually see these projects that are building for the future, building for the long term. They will be the ones where the product will speak for itself, and the users will speak for themselves, and adoption will speak for itself, and then that will be reflected in the token prices. So I don't ever want to just sort of look at token prices as an endpoint. This is sort of more of like a reflection of the quality of the project as a whole, and basically, that's basically my take on token prices. I think it's pretty much what most people building for the long term would say as well.
Great answer.
Yeah. I'm in the AMA discussion. I'm seeing everybody typing and putting in your questions here. So thank you, everyone. Lots of great questions in here. And I'll also say a lot of these questions have been answered in this AMA earlier, like, are you going to be available on mobile? When is merch coming? Why did you choose Solana? These are all questions that we've definitely answered. So make sure you guys go back and watch. But one question that I like here that I will answer is actually from Lexus. And they said, at this bear market times, NFT games have had much more bad reputation because of how developers and market strategists handle their project. How do you make your platform more fun, interactive, long-lasting, suitable, and not delving into the Ponzinomics model? So I love this question. And it really centers around what Max just said as well. Our tokens and our NFTs are not our product. They are elements of our product. They are pillars of our product. Our product is our game. And so how do we plan on how do you make your plan fun and interactive? We make a fun and interactive game. We focus on the gameplay experience. We focus on the onboarding experience in the game and how we can make that the best, the most fun. How do we make the community fun and engaging for people to be a part of? These are all of the things that we're focused on right now in terms of our game community development as well as our game development. Things that we are not focused on. We are not focused on pump and dump schemes on our NFTs. You can look and see, our NFT price history. It's pretty much stayed hovering around that 10 SOL price for quite some time. we're okay with it there right now. We'd obviously love to see it grow over time, because we think that the value of the NFTs will reflect the value of the project and the artwork and the game itself. But that said, we're focused on our product, and our product is our game. And if we make that fun and exciting and amazing visual experience, then we think that we're doing our job, and that the communities, the fun, all of that will come. But we're not interested in not engaging in any type of like Ponzinomics, pump and dump. And if you're more interested in what our tokenomic structure is, that is also released as well on our website and through our white paper that was updated just a few weeks ago. So you can see how we're avoiding all of the Ponzinomics and all of the inflationary techniques that people in some games have used, mostly unsuccessfully in the long term, and how we're avoiding all of those to make sure that none of those pitfalls happen to us.
Nice. Great answer.
This is like a funny question that I saw, and I also have to say that I probably need to dip after this question, because I do actually have another meeting now. But I saw a question here. It's a bit of a fun one. Will Max change his hair color when we launch? I'm gonna just say I never thought about that, but why the hell not? I will change my hair color when the game launches.
Yo,
there's some
do we
alpha.
get to know what color? Do we get to know what color?
You know, maybe I'll even you know, allow the community to decide. Maybe we'll do a vote.
Yo, you heard it first. You heard it here first. Do it. Let's get our DAO to vote on your hair color. And if we do change your hair color, we have a neon shirt that matches it. Because right now, your hair color with the neon logo and that blue, it's just too perfect. So if you change it any other color, we have to change the logo. That's it.
Yeah. The only request would be that it has to be just one color. I don't want to be doing like a rainbow. I don't want to be doing like, you know, the three primary colors. You know, if we could stick it to one color, I think, you know, that would be great. Thank you.
Oh, I was definitely going to give you the Tekashi 6ix9ine. Just straight rainbow.
Okay, love it. Let's do it.
All right. Oh my God. That is my favorite AMA question of all time, because now as part of the marketing team, we get to put that in motion.
Instant regret.
Instant regret.
I'll definitely try to find this question, and I'll just screenshot this, post it on Twitter, find it one day. I'll just tag you again.
Yeah.
I also, like Max, have a meeting, so I have to unfortunately go, even though this is super fun. But if you have more questions, one of our major initiatives right now is to not only, our mod team is super active in our Discords, right? But we want to get our actual Nyan Heroes community team more active as well. So if you have more questions, hop over to our Discord, go ahead and start asking them. And yeah, the marketing team and some of our Nyan Heroes teams will definitely be in there. And we're going to start spending more and more time in our Discord and giving everybody more access to us. So if we didn't get to your question, please hop over to our Discord. Make sure you ask them, and our mods, who I know there's some of our mods in here. Shout out Nyan Sendence, shout out Box of Kittens. And so, yeah, it would be great to have you guys in there and just supporting and answering some questions.
Yes, awesome. Yeah, thank you very much, you know, for hosting and being a great AMA host, and thank you for having us here. Yeah, otherwise, you know, it's been awesome. I do have to dip. Is there anything else you'd like to end with, Darth?
No, I mean, just thank you so much. I want to even, you know, from my community, just want to have, like, express my gratitude. You know, I know you guys are busy. We're all trying to build right now. And, like, every project that I talk to, you know, like, it's so hard for them to let them know more alphas. But, you know, there's so many alphas dropped, you know, especially with your hair color, right? That's going to be like, the biggest thing. So
good.
yeah,
It's so good.
thank you, Matt. Thank you Dave, for coming on. I'm pretty sure the entire YGGC community is excited for what's going to come on next.
Awesome. Cheers. Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. This has been fun. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
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 There you guys have it. What an amazing AMA. I hope that you guys like this AMA just as much as I did. Tune in to our next AMA, which is going to be next week. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment down below. If you guys want more AMAs or whatever you guys want, let us know in Discord, Twitter, and on YouTube. So yeah. All right. See you guys later.